Well, good morning, my friend. Wednesday morning. Welcome to the Pastor's Podcast. Good to have you along with me this morning as we continue on through the week. Elections are over, and depending on which side you look at, some are acting like the world is coming to an end. Others are breathing a sigh of relief, and some are wondering if America's ever going to be saved. And I think the problem is we're looking to the wrong place for America to be saved. We're looking to politics instead of to God. And my friend, I know what I feel about the elections. And I think that if you watched yesterday's podcast, you would know kind of where I feel. But I still believe that the hope of America is in the local New Testament Baptist church. And I truly believe that some Christians need to get their focus back on where it needs to be, and that's on God. We are not going to save this nation through Republican or Democrat. It's going to be saved through the local church, and too many are playing church. That's why our nation's going to pot, because you got preachers who are going backwards. You've got some Christians who are worldly. You've got people, deacons, just people galore, don't go soul winning. They criticize the soul winner instead of going themselves, and then we wonder why we're losing our nation. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. And boy, somewhere we've got to get our focus back as believers. Never been a politician who's turned the world upside down. It's always been the church. Boy, how we need to get that back in our brain. I wish I could somehow get believers and preachers to see this, but they don't want to because they're not spiritual. They're as backslidden and cold as last year's winter. And you don't matter what anyone says, nothing's going to faze them because they don't care. It's all about them and what affects them. Somewhere we got to realize God left us here as a Christian, and we're commissioned as Christians to reach the lost. That is our commission. And somewhere we've got to get that. I'm amazed how some people champion people who graduate from Bible college as someone who's a great person because they ran for office, yet they can't champion the church planter. They can't champion the soul winner, the Sunday school teacher, the bus worker. And that's how we're going to save this nation, my friend. And somewhere we better get our focus back to where it ought to be. Well, this morning, I want to talk to you about one word, whithersoever. In 2 Samuel chapter 7 and verse 9, it says, "And I was with thee whithersoever thou wentest, and I've cut off all thine enemies out of thy sight, and have made thee a great name, like unto the name of the great men that are in the earth." Now, when you think of God being with you, you often think that the times that are easy because of his presence. But God's presence with David did not make his life easier. That's what's interesting. It did mean that God was able to make David into a trophy that God intended for him to be. Now, the verse says, he says, "And I was with thee whithersoever thou went." The biggest word in this statement is the word whithersoever. This means that God was with David no matter what he faced. When David faced Goliath or faced battles, loneliness, and certain death, God was with him. The fact that God was with David, get this now, whithersoever he went, should encourage every believer, and that includes you. You see, there are several things that God being with you does not mean. First, God being with you does not mean that you won't have struggles. The fact that you're in a yoke with God tells you that you're going to have struggles in life. If you've ever worked a plow, that's hard work. There's struggles there. Now, those struggles do not have to be fought alone. You're in the yoke with God. Just because you are going through difficult times does not mean that God's not with you. Second, God being with you does not mean that you won't face battles. David faced many battles, even though God was with him. The well-known battles that we know that David faced were the battles against Goliath and Saul's family and the Philistines. But God was with him in each battle. You might recall in Psalm 23, he says, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, thou art with me." I'll fear no evil because thou art with me. What was he saying? He says, there's valleys I had to walk to, but the fact that God was with him, he says, that helped me in the battles. And the fact that God is with you is not a promise the fact that God's with you is a promise that you won't have to face these battles alone. Third, God being with you does not mean that you won't have to work hard to succeed. David had to work hard. And it was not easy to get to the point of success, but it was God's presence that helped him as he worked hard. God's presence in your life will not remove the need for you to stop working hard. You still have to work hard if God's with you to get his blessings on your life, because God always gives blessings through hard work. So what does it mean that God is with us whithersoever we go? First, it means that God is with you no matter what you face. You're not going through troubles alone, my friend. You don't have to see or feel God's presence for him to be with you. God is with you because he promised never to leave you. God's promise to be with you whithersoever means he's with you right now. Second, whithersoever means God uses the difficulties we face to make us. The verse I read to you says that God made David a great name. How did God make him a great name? He made him a great name by going through whithersoever he went, whatever battle and that he faced, and he won. And God's blessings came through the battles. Now listen, the fact that you're going through battles as you serve God shows that he is with you and making you a greater tool for his use. So God does not make us into greater tools outside the battle, but he uses the battle to mold us into the tool that can be used to make the greatest impact for God. Now, my friend, whithersoever means that God is with you. Now, don't despair when going through tough times, but trust God's promises that he is with you. You may not understand the master's plans, the master planner's work in your life, but I'm telling you, his plan for your life will come to light if you trust him as he molds you into a great tool through the battles that you face. Don't bemoan the battles, but understand God is with you. Whithersoever you go, stay with God, and you always come out on the winning side. Well, my friend, I hope this is a help and a challenge to you today. Now, let's remember today, be good to everyone. Everyone's having a tough time. Have a great day, my friend.